When Elizabeth Staton said that the best protection any woman can have is the protection of courage, the courage that she feels inside of her. But I know that courage just doesn't come anyhow. Courage comes from being very learned. Courage comes from knowing who you are, which is why still Coco will tell you that a woman's best friend is herself, and a woman's best dream is to be the best she can be. My name is Elizabeth, and the show is Prime Woman. Now, who is my guest? Now you've met my guests, from Proxy, and right now you're going to be chatting with her full time. Again, Honorable Justice Zainab Bulkachuwa is seated right here with me. Nice to have you, ma.
Nice to have you, too.
It's the first time I'm actually meeting you, but then a whole lot has been said about you, and you too have actually put it to people severally, and I feel good. I'm going to put it to you. I mean, put a lot of questions to you, and you'll be answering them. But first of all, I must compliment you. You look very refreshed.
Thank you very much.
The way you said it, there's a joy in being retired.
Yes, there's a joy in being retired.
Share it with us. How does it feel?
You have a feeling that you've done what you are supposed to do, both to your family, to your country, and then to your profession. That's why I feel every morning when I wake up, I feel very contented and very happy.
It's beautiful. Now, do you have, there's this thing people say, when you're getting off nicotine or caffeine and all that, the withdrawal syndrome. I think that's what I'm looking for. Do you have a bit of withdrawal syndrome? When you wake up, you want to jump out to go to work, or are you just there, very relaxed with yourself?
No, I've gone through that stage. It's 5 years since I retired.
Did you have it when you
No, I don't have it anymore.
Okay, but it did happen.
I did have it.
Okay. You're waking up and then
Because before, when I wake up, what I'll think, what do I have to do? What do I have to do today? But then when I remember that there is nothing, I felt happy, and then I go back to bed. I go back to bed.
I happen to have attended the recently call to bar ceremony, here in Abuja. And sitting down there in the body of benches hall, I kept a lot of things were going on in my mind, especially as the members of the body of bench, when they were walking in, I was looking at them in admiration. I also wondered a whole lot. Some of them were women, and you were the president of appeal court, the very first female president. And I'm wondering, how did you choose to work by putting it to people? That's being a lawyer. Now they say the law, the bench.
I became a lawyer just by coincidence.
Oh, wow. It wasn't a decision.
No, it wasn't my decision. Initially, I wanted to be a lawyer, but circumstances, I wanted to be a doctor.
Oh.
But circumstances prevented me from being one.
Oh, you would have been such a wonderful
Yes,
doctor.
and so I ended up taking law, reading law. And then when I read law, I had no, what do I call it? I was not planning anything. I just read law. I enjoyed it. I went to the law school. I enjoyed it. I started working as a state counsel. I also enjoyed it. And then I became a magistrate. So it's just a matter of time. I found myself on the bench. And I was on the bench for 40 years. Magistracy, High Court, Court of Appeal. So that was how it ended.
You were the very first woman to sit in that position. I know that it's something a lot of people would actually want to be, but then we didn't really think about it because we always felt that certain positions were reserved for the men. When you assumed office, Was it that easy? Was it that smooth? Did you think, okay, I'm doing the wrong thing, or I can't handle it? The man should be here, not me.
Uh, I was a chief judge before I even came to the Court of Appeal, so it wasn't something new. Being in a, what do I call it, at a number one position. I was a chief judge when I came to the Court of Appeal. And then coming to the Court of Appeal, I was a presiding justice before I was given the acting appointment. I acted for 1.5 years before I was given the substantive appointment. So it wasn't something unexpected. And then, we have our seniority, whatever. It's only if you are unable to do that job, that's when you would be removed. But they found me satisfactory.
You continued. All right, that's a good one. Sometimes when we sit this lower part of the bench, you see, automatically I've made myself a bencher too. So when we sit on this side of a bench and we're looking at people there, we think it's okay, they're not normal. They have two heads, but it's good to know that it's just one head.
No, it takes a lot of time and then a lot of experience. Being a judge, it's another thing. At least you work on your own, but you are guided by the rules of procedure, whatever, whatever. And then if you come to the Court of Appeal, you don't work alone. You work under others. For example, when I was appointed a Court of Appeal justice, my first presiding justice was Justice Dahir Mustafa. May God have mercy on his soul. He was Justice Dahir Mustafa, and he put me through. I worked with quite a number, Justice Umar Abdullahi, Justice Oguntadi. They were all there, so they put us through. When you start initially,
There's always a
whatever you do,
support
yes,
system.
yes, whatever you do, you have to show it to others. And then that's how it worked. And then when I was also in the same position, when I became a presiding justice, I guided my junior,
The junior officers.
yes, the juniors
There's
who were
something you
working
people
under
do
me.
in the legal department, arena that I enjoy so much. There's this thing about seniority. You
Yes,
know, it's so strict and you observe it.
yes.
But how does it help to form the characters of the lawyers?
Whatever you are doing, you are being watched. And then if you get out of the way, you'd be corrected. You'd be put right. Like you said recently, you are at the call to bar. Yes, I was there on the first day. We have a seniority list. That's from the time you become a bencher. If you are a live bencher, there are lines. When I arrived, they were just getting in. So all I did was to put on my gown and then join in the line. Those that were senior to me, I allowed them to pass, and then I just entered where my juniors were, and that was all. We
It's
all
a
know
it,
our places.
it's a beautiful thing. I wish in the world, in the external world outside of your own, that such practices are carried on, because a lot of people do not seem to respect their seniors the way they should. And I think it's something that we should work hard to ensure that we also carry it beyond the legal department or legal practice. Now, going back to still your person in the law and all of that, I'd like to know from a female angle. At a point, there were not too many female lawyers, but we're happy as of today, the number is increasing. The recently graduated lawyers, a number of them were all female, and it made me really happy. But what's the prospect for the female lawyers
It's
in
according to,
Nigeria?
it's according to how hard you work. You can be a counsel, that's a legal practitioner, and then you work as a counsel under another lawyer. You can have your own chambers. You can do corporate practice, whatever. You can work in an office in the Ministry of Justice, and then you might rise to become a senior SAN, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. And then the sky is the limit from there. But if you go to the bench, maybe you should start as a magistrate, from being a magistrate, a judge, and then a
You
Court of Appeal
continue.
justice, and then subsequently a Supreme Court justice. And you might even become a Chief Justice of Nigeria. We have a woman now who is the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and she's the second.
That's a good one. Now, when you were practicing, I also know that your family was well enveloped. You took care of them. How was it that easy for you to justify, in the area of your profession and also at home, without letting the family suffer? How did you manage it?
I started young. I went back to the university after being married. I had my first daughter while I was doing my basic studies. That was in 1971. And then I had my first son in 1973 while I was in part one. My third son, I had him when I was after the law school. Because when I was called to the bar, I was heavily pregnant. So I went to the
You had
NY.
double certificate.
Yes, I went to the NYSC, just within months I had my baby. So it had been like that. After I delivered my baby, I went back for my national service. I did my national service. And then after the national service, I was employed as a state counsel in the Kaduna State Ministry of Justice then. So it was just normal. Like any normal housewife or normal whatever, I'll go for my lectures, come back home, put my baby on my back, enter the kitchen. So that was how it was. I remembered when I had my second child, my stepmother was staying with me. After the naming ceremony, that's just 7 days after I'd had my baby. I packed my bag. I wanted to go for lectures. She said, "What? You are supposed to stay for 40 days." I said, "Please, Ina, allow me to go. I've missed my lectures for more than 7 days, so let me go." So that was what happened. It was natural. It was natural. I used to divide my time between my work, my family, and then my work. I'd go to court, come back to the house, take care of my children, cook, and then at night, after they've slept, I'll bring out my books. I write my judgments.
Wow. The job of a woman is not easy. I
It
put it to you
wasn't.
that you were stressing yourself.
No, I wasn't. I
You were
felt normal. Yes, I felt normal.
okay.
Yes.
That's a good one. Now, yeah, I know that you also married to a very important personality, a senator still sitting, which makes the job of containing, publicity even harder for you. And being the person you have been, I know that there are controversies. How do you handle such?
I married him after my late husband died. He was a politician then. I was a judge. So from the beginning, I divided the line. I was not involved in his politics, and then I never allowed him to get involved in my work. So that was how it worked.
It's beautiful. So when you sit down and read things about you, how do you handle it?
The important thing is to have a clear conscience. Once you know you've done the right thing, you leave it because you can't stop people from talking. But having done the right thing, I'm clear with my conscience. I just continue.
Beautiful. Let me dwell on your life now. You, I know when you retired, you turned 70, and 5 years down the line, that's 75. And I was expecting somebody who would be a little bit, older. And I got in, I said, that's a babe. So, what's the secret to your, good health, good skin, good life?
And just be myself, contented with the way God has shaped my life. Mm? I have my children, I have my grandchildren, I have a large family. So, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah.
You know what? A lot of people get into retirement and they become shriveled, which is why I'm actually particular about this question. You know, they get into retirement. It's also the reason why we are scared of retiring, because they don't see a lot of good examples. But here you are, you're a very positive example. And I wanted to speak to, you know, teaming viewers here, especially those who are planning to retire. How do we go about it that the fear of retirement, you know, doesn't catch up with us? Rather than looking, you know, better because we're relaxed, some of us begin to shrivel down. What do we do? You know, I know you're contented. What other things do we do?
I have a foundation where I'm giving back to the society. I registered a foundation, you know, to make sure that non-privileged girls are given a chance to education. When I went to school at a time when girls were not allowed to go to school, but my father ensured that I went to school, even though he died immediately after my secondary school. And then my late husband ensured that I continued. So I wanted to give back to girls. That's why I went back to my origin. That's my local government, Nafada in Gombe State. And then we started picking up girls, non-privileged girls, orphans, those who otherwise cannot go to school. At the moment, we are sponsoring 150 girls.
It's beautiful. Up to a secondary school?
No, we are seeing them through.
University as well?
Through university.
That's
Now we have one of our, what do I call it, one of our beneficiaries is reading medicine at the University of Gombe. Some from the schools, from the primary school, we make sure they transit to secondary schools, and then from secondary schools, they transit to primary school. We follow them in their lives. That's what we are doing. Maybe that's the difference between other foundations.
It's not just dumping the money on them, you're actually on the...
Yes.
That's beautiful.
And then we are involved with the community itself, their parents, whatever.
That way they don't get to waste the resources.
And then I registered for Quranic lessons.
Oh, you did?
Yes, online.
Nice.
Online, and then I have another one that comes and teaches me. You know, it's something that satisfies the soul. So my journey with the Quran is coming up very nicely.
It's beautiful because I've always heard that to allow yourself not to get into dementia, you should learn a language, you should learn one new concept or the other. So doing that can actually help you build not just your soul, but also your brain. That's a good one. So a lot of people who are watching, I guess you should do something. When you're done, you can also learn how to speak Spanish.
It's a possibility. It's a possibility.
Español.
Yes.
Mon chéri.
It's
now,
a possibility.
During your time with your profession, once a lawyer, always a lawyer, what was that sweetest, biggest moment that gave you so much satisfaction?
You know, the satisfaction is when you decide a case. I was what do I call it, a counsel for just 3 years. But I was a magistrate, a high court judge, 40 years. So it's the satisfaction after you conclude a case. You feel satisfied within yourself that you've done the right thing. It doesn't matter if whatever, usually they might appeal. I've had some cases, very sensitive cases from the Court of Appeal that went to the Supreme Court, but they were affirmed. So, you know, you have that satisfaction, you have that feeling that I did the right thing. So,
you know, I never really thought about it this way. That a case, some people say, okay, the case was decided against them, they went to Supreme Court, and we often will look at the people who are litigating. We never really thought about the side of a lawyer. You know, if your case judgment is upheld, it gives you a maximum satisfaction. I'm just hearing that. We learn every day. All right, at the end of the day, too, I'd like to know, are there moments you wish you never entered the court?
no.
Wow.
No. It's something that I started and then I had satisfaction inside and I enjoyed what I was doing. And then at the end of the day, I finished well. So,
All right, let me let you be and go off by asking, what do you do for relaxation when you want to relax? I know you're learning Quran recitation now. What other activities do you do to excite you when you want to relax?
I watch films.
Films.
Yes.
Wow.
And then my children usually they all come with, Mama, you should watch this, you should watch that, you should. Yesterday my son came. He put in another episode for me and asked me to watch it. When I looked at it, it has so many episodes, and I was and I was wondering how long it will take me to. So I engage with my children, with my grandchildren, with my sisters, with my brothers and friends. So
It's a beautiful world. Thank you so much for coming on the show. And I won't let you go until you have given me a little bit of your philosophy of life. I hear satisfaction in your voice. I'm satisfied with what I did. But what is your philosophy of life?
live and let live.
Live and let live.
And then do what you can, when you can,
Hmm,
at the right time.
true. Thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
The show is Prime Woman, and I've had my wonderful time with a very exceptional woman. Someone I can describe in a lot of ways, but all of them, almost all of them around the legal department. She's made her marks in the sands of soil when it comes to Nigeria and law. She occupied the very first, or she became the very first woman to occupy the office of the President of the Court of Appeal, Federal Republic of Nigeria. She did tremendously well, so much so that in 2008, she was given the award of the Officer of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. And then again in 2014, she was also given the Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. We'll continue to celebrate her because she still has a whole lot. She thinks she's retired. There are still a whole lot she has to do. And she's still doing them, training the girls in Gombe State. And that's actually making a statement, setting all of us up to ensure that even as we retire, we should ensure that while we are not expired, we continue to walk our talk when it comes to uplifting Nigeria. We'll come your way again next week. Until then, I remain Elizabeth.